Alright guys, welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be explaining simple market structure and how to catch a trend reversal trade, okay? So to understand market structure, we need to understand when we are either in a bullish or a bearish market, and it's very simple. And these are the three components I'm going to look at. So bullish market, bearish market, change of character and break of structure, okay? Very simple, only three components needed for a trend reversal. And we're going to be going through that today. So, component number one is a bullish market. Now, when we look at this example, it's very simple and easy to explain as well. So, this is what we call a low. So, this is just where price has formed some sort of structure point as a low, and here we've gotten a high. So, we've gone from a low to a high. Then, once price retraces down, it creates a higher low. Why is this? Well, because it didn't drop below the prior low that was made here. Okay, so we've got a low, we've got a higher low because it's higher than this low, and price comes up and breaks past this previous high, meaning we now have a higher high. Okay, very simple, you can start to understand. So we have a low, high, higher low, and higher high because we have gone higher than the prior high. So then we're going to see another couple of those. As we can see again, we've got another higher low because it didn't break past the prior low. And then we've got another higher high as we broke higher than the prior high. So that's a bullish market, very simple, okay? It's not too difficult to understand. Price just needs to go above a high to make a higher high, and needs to stay above a low to make a higher low. Now, component number two, bearish market, is just the opposite, okay? So we have a high, we formed a high, then we formed a low. When price comes back up and it fails to break above this high, then we have a lower high, okay? Because this high is now lower than the prior high. Price comes down, breaks below the prior low, okay? Making it a now lower low because it is lower than this low. As you can see, we broke past this point where the low was. And once again, price comes up, we fail to break this prior high, so we make another lower high as it's lower than this one. Price comes down and we make another lower low as we go lower than the prior low. Lots of lows, lots of highs, but hopefully you guys are understanding. Very simple concept. Hopefully it's easy to understand with the drawings as well. So now we're going to go on to change of character and break of structure. Again, that was very quick. If you need to go back and watch it again, then do so. So now we are looking for changes of characters. Change of character and breaks of structure. So this is now just abbreviation of our low and our high with L and H, and higher low and a higher high. Okay, so we can identify now we are in a bullish market, okay, because we're making higher highs and higher lows. So price has now formed this higher high up here, at which point when price next comes down, we end up breaking past this higher low that was made, therefore making a lower low. So we went from a higher high and now we've made a lower low as we are lower than this prior low over here. And this is what we call a change of character, as we can see here. So this is the abbreviated version again. Call it a CHOCH or CHOC. Some people call it CHOC. I call it a CHOCH. And it just stands for change of character. And change of character meaning change of the type of market we're in. So we went from bullish and now we are bearish, okay? Because we made that lower low that we saw in the bearish market example over here. So now that we've made a lower low and we've created a change of character, we know we are bearish, so we're looking for sells, okay? This now tells us that we can anticipate a lower high on the next pullback, okay? So we made this lower low and now price is returning up to this high, but we're thinking, okay, there isn't going to be another higher high form because we've had this change of character and change of market. So as we can see here, a lower high formed instead, and we've shifted to a bearish sentiment, and then eventually we get this lower low where we can see this break of structure. Now what is break of structure? Well, it just means that this structure point, our lows and our highs are all structure points. So this is a structure point, this is a structure point, this is a structure point. They're just lows, highs, higher lows, higher highs, lower lows, lower highs, etc. All of the things we just went over, those are structure points. So when price can break past one of those, that is called a break of structure. Not to get confused with a change of character, okay, which is the common misunderstanding. So we've now got a break of structure. So how can we now use this in the markets to trade and catch trend reversals? Well, we're going to go through some examples right now, and hopefully you guys caught up, and that was very simple. So let's take a look. So let's firstly take a look at what our trending markets actually look like on the live charts, okay? So here we can see a very clear trending market. Why? Well, because we formed a low here and we formed a high here. Once price pulls back, we've actually formed a higher low because we failed to break below this low. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us we're in a bullish market now, okay? So we can anticipate a higher high is going to be made. And what do we see? Well, we see price comes up and makes that higher high. Then we can still assume, whilst we're in this bullish market, that we're going to make a higher low and a higher high, and a series of this to continue until we get a change of character, okay? So when you look at it like this is a very clean example. Price won't always be this clean for trending markets, but you will still get some form of higher highs and higher lows in a bullish market. It looks something like this, for example. So now let's take a look at an example of a change of character and how we would end up trading that based on the knowledge that we've just learned. Alright guys, so here we can identify very clearly that we are in a bearish market on the lower time frame. So we made this high, we came down, we made a low, we made a lower high, because again, notice how we didn't break past this high, we didn't break above this high. Then we made a lower low, because we did break below this one, so we can see a lower low, and then price continues to give that trend. We make this lower high, failing to break the prior high, and we make that lower low by breaking below the prior low. So now we're anticipating another lower high, right? Where price comes up here and fails to break this prior high. Well, at some point in the market, there will have to be a change of character. And in this instance, we get that change of character right here. So we can see now that price has broken above this this lower high over here, and that is now our change of character, okay? So price is still going up, and that is its new structure point, okay? So it has created this higher high. Why? Because we are higher than the prior high that was made here, and that is our change of character. So now this is our next structure point. So because we have turned bullish, what are we expecting? We are expecting that break of structure that we spoke about, where price breaks past the prior structure point that has been created. So this higher high is our last structure point, okay? And we're expecting another higher high. So let's see what price ends up doing. Pulls back a bit, and there we go. We make that higher high, as we can see here. If I just copy this for you guys. There we go. We make this higher high over here. Now, how do we actually go about trading these trend reversals? So we can see that we went from a bearish trend to a bullish trend, but now what can we do in terms of getting into the market and catching that large move? Well, that's when our supply and demand zones come into play. So if you're not familiar with supply and demand zone trading, you can check out my other videos. I explain lots of components about supply and demand trading, and I'll be explaining more to come, and I'll be doing a full beginners course at some point soon. But for now, you might have to make do with the information I've got on my YouTube so far. But this is what we're going to be looking for. So we're going to be looking for demand zones, because we know we want to buy as we're in a bullish trend, okay? Now, where do we look for our demand zone to be buying off? Well, we have to look at the prior structure point before the change of character. So let's identify our change of character. Well, we can see it's right here. And what was the prior structure point before that change of character? It was this lower low over here. So we want to be looking for demand zones within that area. Now, I can see a very valid demand zone here just because I trade supply and demand. But for those of you who don't know, this right here is a very valid demand zone. Why? Well, because it's an indecision candle indicating buying and selling power, and at which point price shows bullish momentum, and it's also got a fair value gap resting above the demand zone. So we can see this here. This is our fair value gap, which just means that price needs to fill it in and mitigate this demand zone. So we know now that this is our valid demand zone that gave all of that bullish momentum to give that change of character, at which point we had our trend reversal, okay? So now, all we have to do is wait for price to draw back into that demand zone area that we have just found. So we extend it out here. This becomes our entry. We can also say that this is valid. Okay, let's put that in white. And we want to get in the trade. So stops below the candle, entry at the top of the candle, and we're going to be targeting break of structure. And what is that again? That is just the prior structure point that has been made, and price wants to then break past it because we're in a trending market. So for this example, this high is what we want to be targeting, as we know we're in a bullish market, so we're anticipating price to make another higher high. Okay, so somewhere over here, right? We want price to end up breaking this structure point. Okay, hopefully you guys are following along. It's quite simple. Again, if you need to rewatch this video back a few times, feel free to do so. So we're going to wait to get filled on our entry now. So price made another higher high here. It's eventually making its way back down to our entry. It's taking quite a while. Here we go. We've just been mitigated into our entry. And again, we want to be targeting the last high that was made. Now, you may think that this is a break of structure over here, a change of character over here. And you would be correct, as we've been making higher highs and price actually broke this low over here, making a lower low. However, we are looking at the swing structure, okay? So on a higher time frame, we are in a bullish market now. On a higher time frame, this would be your high, this would be your low, this would be the high, and price wouldn't be breaking below this low, okay? So we are actually bullish on the higher time frame, and that's something you need to take into consideration. And that will come with watching the markets over and over again, and you'll get used to seeing that. And not to get mistaken by these low time frame change of characters, which aren't actually change of characters. So we want to label this as our target. This was the last high that was made before we came down into our entry. So let's label this as our target, and we want to have price come up to this area over here. So let's see how price plays out. We're seeing that bullish momentum that we wanted, the same as over here, and eventually, there we go, price smashes that high and makes a new higher high. And so guys, that is how you catch trend reversals with basic market structure understanding. So all we're looking for is to identify our structure points, right, which are those highs, those lows, the lower highs, lower lows, until eventually one of them gets broken into a different trending structure point. So we went from a lower high to lower low, which was a bearish market, and then we ended up making a higher high and giving that change of character breaking past the prior structure point here. So we know that when we see a higher high, that is a bullish market that we are in. So we're looking for buys, and then we're looking for demand zones in the area of the last structure point, which was created before the change of character. And we know that this was the last low that was created before we got that change of character to the upside. And that is where we want to enter off of. So very simple, guys. Go and backtest this out for yourselves. This is, the most simple concept that you can understand and trade very, very simply and very easily. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Like I said, on a higher time frame, this could just be one high, one low, one higher high, and then this would be your higher low over here. And let's actually mark that out so you guys can also understand that this is our lower high. Why is that so? Well, because we did not break below this low. So this is our, higher low, not lower high. Oops. This is our higher low, okay? Very, very simple. Hopefully you guys understood that very, very clearly. Just so you guys know, this is a bit off topic, I'm going to be doing a $100 to $10,000 flipping challenge. And if I make it to $10,000, I'm going to be giving away 50 funded accounts on my Instagram or whatever it is to whoever's following me. And if I fail, then I've ruined my reputation as a trader. So we're going to see how that goes. That's a bit off topic, but if you want to follow along, I'll be posting daily recaps on my TikTok, and I'll be posting the trades that I take in my Signal group, which is all in the link in the description down below. So again, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and potentially subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and let's get a good week of trading next week. I'll see you guys in the next video.